Hey everyone, this is Will Falk with Protect Thacker Pass. There was a meeting last night with the Nevada Department of Environmental Protection, who controls the last two permits that Lithium Nevada needs for their proposed Thacker Pass open pit lithium mine. I wanted to make a short video explaining my perspective on what's happening and just highlight a few of the things that we heard last night. Max and I have been saying for a long time that it's almost guaranteed that NDEP grants these permits. Last night, when NDEP was asked about how often they deny permits such as these, an employee named Rob Kaczynski, who apparently has worked at NDEP for 25 years in both the air and water quality sides of NDEP, said that in his 25 years experience at NDEP, he does not recall denying one permit. A lot of people hear this and they're shocked. They figure that regulatory agencies exist to stop harm, and that they exist to protect the public, and that they would sometimes deny permits. But I'm a lawyer, and it's been my experience in environmental law that kind of statistic that Mr. Kaczynski offered in the meeting last night is completely common. Environmental and other regulatory agencies do not exist to stop harm. They were created to regulate harm, and they were created to give permits to harm. This is an important thing to understand, because when we think of trying to stop this Thacker Pass lithium mine, and we think that we're going to go into these public commenting periods and we're going to make the most brilliant, passionate, heartfelt comments that NDEP has ever heard, and that NDEP, through the goodness of their heart and because they care so much about the community, is going to dig deep into their own soul and somehow find a way to deny these permits. I think if we think that we're literally crazy. This is not me saying that people should give up. Not by any means. People should participate in the public commenting period. It is a good way for other people to really see how the community opposes these things. At the very least, we need to make NDEP feel uncomfortable before they allow Lithium Nevada to poison water and air and destroy local natural communities here. But we also, and perhaps more importantly, we need to be planning for what we're going to do when those permits are granted, and how we're going to actually stop the Thacker Pass lithium mine. We've up here at Protect Thacker Pass have long said that it's going to take civil disobedience, it's going to take direct action. And I think a lot of people, when they hear that and they know that there are still outstanding permits and public commenting periods to participate in, it's easier to participate in a public commenting period than it is to think about engaging in direct action. So they understandably gravitate towards putting their effort into public commenting periods. But again, it's not going to work. The Nevada Department of Environmental Protection is legally obligated to issue permits if Lithium Nevada simply tells them that they will follow the law, if Lithium Nevada simply describes a mining project that follows the law. But we should know by now that the law isn't always safe. The laws that they have implemented for mining in Nevada don't always guarantee people's safety. In fact, there's two mines right over here. I'm looking, if I could see through the mountain, the Cordero and McDermott Mercury mines. They had their proper permits, and yet McDermott has to truck in their water. And yet people on the Fort McDermott reservation are dying from cancer that they got from the mercury in those mercury mines. Just about every mining disaster, every industrial disaster that happens comes from corporations that had the proper permits to do what they were doing, that had the government sign off on their plans. So if we think that just because NDEP grants these permits and looks like they're sincerely listening to us at these public commenting periods, it doesn't mean that the regulations that are in place guarantee anyone's safety. It doesn't mean that water isn't going to be poisoned, air isn't going to be polluted, land isn't going to be destroyed. But what it does mean is that if a corporation does, in fact, follow their processes and indeed does pollute air and water, and citizens try to sue the corporation to stop that harm, the corporation can claim, well, we were following the law, we don't have any liability. If you want to be protected better, go to the legislature and get better regulations. So I just don't want people, especially locals in Orovada and Kings River and McDermott and Fort McDermott, who maybe don't have a lot of experience going through these kinds of processes, who don't have a lot of experience fighting mines like these, who are tempted to believe in the rhetoric of NDEP. NDEP keeps talking about how much public participation that they want, and trying to make it like that everyone's voice is being heard. And that's what I want to ask people. Do you want your voice to be heard? Or do you want clean air and water? Do you want your voice to be heard? Or do you want a mine not to destroy your community? Do you want your voice to be heard? Or do you want to still see sage grouse in these lecks? You still want to be able to hunt deer in Thacker Pass. You still want to watch antelope run through Thacker Pass. Because what these public comment periods are designed to do is make people feel like their voices were heard while the government goes ahead and grants permits anyway. It goes ahead and allows corporations to do what they do, to destroy the land, poison air and water, and harm communities like they always do, even when they have the permits. So everyone that is paying attention, if you've made it this far into the video, if you're going to participate in the public commenting and put pressure on NDEP, that's great. I think we have to do that. But at the same time, we need to be preparing for when those efforts fail and the permits are granted. And it's looking more and more like if we're going to stop this mine, we're going to have to stop the mine ourselves. And it's going to come down to getting the word out, letting the rest of the country know what's going on here. And it might even involve physically blocking construction equipment when it comes. So think about that. Don't be shocked when the permits are given, despite everyone's most eloquent arguments in front of NDEP. And let's keep our mind on tactics that are actually going to work. Hope you have a wonderful day.